Right. We are live there. Oh, I should probably check. I probably lost my sound settings here. Let's see how quiet I am. Super quiet. All right, let's get myself some volume back here. There we go. Now we have volume again. All right, we're live there. We should be live on. And it nixed my Why does it nix my thumbnail every single time when I go live on YouTube? I'll just update it and see if it updates here. All right, it's still saving. It still says it's saving. Okay, now it says it is done saving. All right, there we go. I don't know why it does that. It's stupid. It's being dumb. All right, things are going to look blurry in the background because I have it blurred. So don't be surprised. You're going to mute yourself? Why are you muting yourself, Chrisanne? Oh, well, I'm not going to be talking about a whole lot of anything. It's all blurred out. I'm going to kind of be working in the background. Mostly, if anything, I'll talk about how I'm setting, things up and how I import things and what I'm doing with AI for images. But I'm not giving away any story. No way. Mm-mm. No story for anybody. You will all be equally surprised by everything. So really, it's going to be me just figuring some stuff out. Because I'm trying to get sounds imported and doing some more images. All the fun stuff. Right. So I can move this one over. I like that one. Okay. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. Another beautiful month. Hello, Dave, if that is your real name. What should I say, Darth? Darth Dave. Hey, look. That's yeah. I like how it just went everywhere on the screen. That was nice. All right, so I got that image. And I can move that image. So thank you, Dave. I need enhancements. Enhance. Yeah, so the process for doing this is a little weird because I'm making the images. I'm using prompts and ideas and stuff. Since this is a one shot, I'm just getting a bunch of AI generated images for the backgrounds because it's short notice, and I have to move them into a specific folder once I make them. And then once I get them in there, to get them into Forge for the VTT stuff, I need to go to the other tab I have here, which is my asset manager. And I need to drop them in the folder there. So that is what I'm currently in the process of doing. Dragging images over, letting them get loaded in so they exist. And then I come over here and I go to a place like this. And I say, all right, new image. If I can find it. And I go here. And I slap that on there. And I save the changes. And then it warns me that everything's the wrong size because for some reason it doesn't consider two images of the exact same dimensions to be the same size. And it says it has to resize one of them. You tell me, Foundry or Forge. I guess that's Forge, technically. Weirdness. But, yeah. So there's a considerable amount of setup, especially if you do this homebrew. Because I'm doing everything from scratch here. There's nothing made ahead of time. So I'm doing all this stuff. All right, so that is there. That has its overlay. Regenerate the thumbnail so I know I touched it. which is good. And I can zoom in and zoom out and all that fun stuff. So what are you up to this evening, Mr. Dave? I think Crescent is just having, probably more soup. Is that it? Late night soup time? All the soup. Soup is good. So Dave, I was chatting with Crescent earlier about basically how this system is very simple, but very up to the players for how they role play things. Like super important. Because the character sheets are, let's see, we'll load this guy's character sheet. This is his character sheet. That's the whole thing. The only thing I don't have on here are his stunts. He has a couple of stunts, which are rule-breaking mechanisms, kind of like feats, things like that. And that's how you do every single thing in the game. Yes, nice and fuzzy. I made sure it was fuzzy so you can't see everything. And everybody has a high concept in Dresden Files, Accelerated, and Fate in general. And that kind of is, as I'd said to Crescent, it's the little teardrop, boop, the area select or whatever. You just distill the person down to a couple of drops. And that defines them. And it should define them for good or evil. The trouble is usually something that's, well, the main source of stress in your life. And it could also be a good source of inspiration, but most of the time it's things that cause you trouble. And any aspects you have are usually double-edged swords. They can save you from some things, but they can also, if they're a good aspect, they're written properly, that they could be used either way. They cause you a little bit of trouble and stress, or to make things easy for you. Evil Moonskull, after all, yes. We know Nuggy Smalls only plays evil characters. Well, you play what you know. And her favorite emoji, besides the flat face, I guess it would be called, the face, the Philip J. Fry face, is the little devil. So that's my guess. All right, so new scene. Go to a new scene here. All right, we are going to go to this one, and we've got the image. I have to make sure that I changed that. Okay, global illumination is off. All right. You tried. Let's see. What dice did I actually leave installed for this guy? I think I went with the red ones, right? Oh, no, I went with the metallic ones. Look at him. Getting a good roll. All right. So I put this module in here. And it allows me to, it puts a little vignette. If you see that, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little tiny dark bar across the center of the screen, and I can type things in. So you can't read the words, but I can put something across the screen like that. And then I can remove it. Boop. And so I can say Dave likes pickles. And it says Dave likes pickles. And I take it off the screen. I mean, I could technically type in an entire phrase. Like if I went and grabbed you do like pickles. Well, you like pickles, you like pickleball. Okay. Do you like like sweet pickles or dill pickles, or which kind? Do you like both? I like defeating people 11-0 in pickleball. Oh, well, all right. There you go. Good job, defeater. Ooh, that's really bright. That's way too bright. All right, let's go here. So if I decided I wanted to put this in, whoops, let's cut that back out of there. If I decided I wanted to go in here and type in an enormous thing, I wonder how much text it will put on the screen. Oh, it can't handle it. It cannot handle that much text. I love it. You like all kinds of pickles? Okay. Well, then fine. Can I do 3 lines? Hey, it did 3. It can do 3 lines. That's something. At least I know. If I eat too many, I have to move to a different kind. Ah, okay. So you're just like, yeah. That is called a pickle. Really? Is it actually called a pickle when you beat somebody 11-0? Like skunking somebody in cribbage? Wizard streams after bedtime. Exactly. Fantastic. Just to wake you up. Yeah, I'm working on some of the stuff for the Halloween one-shot. I'm not giving out any spoilers, and I've got everything blurred. So you may see some colors and some like pictures and images, but that's all you're going to get. That, and I can remove that, and I can remove that, and I can remove that. Sweet pickles, dill pickles, bread and butter pickles currently in the fridge. Wow. I usually have dill pickles, and that's about it. Very garlicky. Golden pickle is when you defeat your opponent's 11-0 on the first serve. Wait, you can defeat somebody 11-0 on the first serve? How do you do that? I don't understand pickleball. That's crazy, man. First server. Oh, so it was not a typo. You meant first server. Got it. Okay. And here I thought you mistyped. All right, we can remove these because they don't need to be there. Boom. And boom. That as well. All right, so I've got that set up. I've got some of these going. I've got to remember to go over here, and this is how I can activate them on each screen. All right, and then I can go back to the tokens, and that allows me to move the tokens around. Yeah, I've just got to get myself in the mode of clicking on these things this way. And I'm also going to disable this thing. And the token speaker, no. Pixel ratio, no. Scrolling, where is the left click to release objects? There we go. Dimensions you're configured for. Yeah, I know the configured foregrounder. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to complain every time. Got 1 golden pickle on your record. Oh, you guys keep records? You keep score? Wow. I'm impressed. I am impressed. All right, so I've got all these in here, but now I need to add more scenes for everyone. All right, we've got this one activated. It's set. Make sure the grid is set properly. And the lighting is set properly. Okay, wait, did that say it was in the navigation? Okay, I don't want this one in the navigation. Let's configure that, take that out of the navigation. Boom. I kind of wish this went across instead of a drop down. I'm not sure why they have it set up this way. For some pickle lovers, following their dreams is a big deal. And going to sleep before croissant kills me. Ah! Run, fantastic, run! Give me a like on the way out, or at least a not hate on the way out. Maybe. go with that. And yeah, have a good night. Get some rest. Right, we're gonna duplicate this. And we are going to go in here and rename it. It is this place. Where is it here? Ah, there it is. That, and we're going to change the image to this. Save it. And generate a thumbnail for it. Oh, wow, those thumbnails are very, very similar in color. All right, we're going to go to this scene. We are going to configure that and rename it so it's proper. And save that one. Here. Making new scenes, folks. Making new scenes. All right, so we have that one and that one. All right, we need 2 of these. I'm going to duplicate that once. And I'm going to duplicate it twice. And we are going to rename this one. What's that? Yeah, that's right. I got to get my naming convention in my head properly. All right, we'll save that, do the changes. We will, okay, that's got its theme set. This one is going to be that. We're going to change the item from that into this, and save that. Yeah, once you get going on these, you gotta get a nice cadence. Like, subscribe, do all the things, do them all. We're going to duplicate this one. And we are going to call this one that. Find our nice purple image here. Boop. And save. All right, there's our image. Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay. It doesn't like that. So I'll have to revise my naming convention. That's fine. We'll do it that way. Oops, that's not right. 033? No. 04. All right, let's see if this. Yeah, it's still it's weird. It's not doing these in the order that I would expect them to do. I can't get a numerical scheme to go here. That's a little weird. Can I get a? I could collapse all the folders. It doesn't care if it's 01, 02, 03, 04. Then it goes to 10 for 10, 11, and then it goes down to 7. So I think I've got to get all these numbered properly before it'll actually figure itself out. What did that do? What? Oh, I'm on the wrong tab. There we go. Let's get all these fixed here. It needs the other digit. Otherwise, I can't figure anything out. All right, so we got this. We're going to give this one to 0, 0. It stays at top. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0. I have lost 5 and 6. Okay, that's fine because I'm adding those still. Right. We got that one, we got that one, we got that one, we got that one. And that one. All right, this is good. We're getting somewhere. We're getting things done. right, we'll see what this gets us in that style. Boom. Dang numbering. Exactly. Numbering. Who knew? And we're going to be using some audio from Tabletop Audio. I chatted with Erudai, and he's getting he's going to get a Patreon subscription to it, because it'll be nice to support the guy doing all the stuff. Well, that's interesting. I kind of like that image. That is a strange image, but I like it. I think I'm going to download that because I enjoy it. That image makes me happy. Though, I mean, it completely ignored what I wanted in the prompt. Maybe that word is what messed it up. I don't know. I think it's because I have an image of like a specific picture I'm using as a reference, which is another AI picture that I generated, and it's getting hung up by the actual structure that's in the image. Okay, that isn't even remotely what I needed. We'll use the same thing. Yeah, we'll try that one. Making my own campaign. This is I always make my own campaigns. Basically, I haven't used a pre-made anything for forever. But this one is specifically for the Halloween one shot that I'm doing. So I'm doing some work on that. I figured, why not do it on screen, right? Oh, I can't even type there. Yeah, it's not utilizing. Sometimes AI is like, hey, this is a great little concept piece, especially for a one shot like this. Other times it just goes off in a fever dream and it's like, here, I heard you like melted things. Why is the world melting? What did you do? The butler. Oh, fine. All right, I got to change something just a second. The butler did not do it. There, fixed. The butler is innocent. Hide that one. I don't need that. A couple of these images are just disturbing. Oof. You put one word sometimes in a thing and it just says, well. Okay, whoops. Put the right letter in there. I think it's getting hung up on a couple of words. Cheese quest. Oh, cheese quest. What kind of cheese? Is that the quest? I do have string cheese right here. It's pepper jack string cheese, in fact. All right, we're going to take this and this out of here once. We're going to try something. We're going to try without the image prompt help. Everything is decided with the towing cost. Oh, jeez. We all know it was the maid. Yeah, it's the maid from Clue. Oh, that one kind of works. But that one, well, that one just looks like, so it's not really helpful. Let's try this, but we're gonna do a couple of variations of it. Yeah, getting rid of the image that I had, that's fine. Oh, there's still a minute 45. I hadn't looked. I was like, I stepped away from actually even paying attention to it, and I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot the game's still going on. Yeah, we'll go with that one. We'll go with that one. This is gonna work. This will work. Oops, that will do everything we ever wanted it to do. Right? Right. The world is our oyster. Or something. Something, something, something oyster. Boom. Wonder why it decides for some of the emojis it seems to go poof when it makes them, when it puts them in there. I don't know. Is that the kick ones doing it, maybe? Ah, yes, sports. Sports! Did the ball go? The ball went! Alright, so I need to move this and this into the other folder here. They go in there. And we will make... We'll duplicate that one. And this will be called... We'll call it that. We will call it Stefan. There it is. Save that. Maybe. There we go. All right, we'll activate it, and it shows up. Look, Maisie stuff. All the secrets are gone. I tend to make a lot of sequences in a lot of places, even if you guys never get to them, because there are options. Kick ones are the ones that do that? Okay. All right. That makes sense. Boom. All right. What was the next thing I needed to do? I put another one in here. But that was... Oh, that was replacing this one. I was changing an image here because that one was better. And let's activate that. Yeah, that's way better. I like it much more. They're a little blurry for you guys, but, you know, that's intentional. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. And I chatted a little bit with the Rudai earlier because I'm like, there are some dark things that happen in this little adventure since it's all spooky times. And I wanted to know if I had to watch out for some of the ideas and phrasing, and so I'm gonna mitigate a little bit of it for the benefit of YouTube, but we're not gonna totally wreck anything, and we're totally not gonna go overboard. We'll do well. We'll do well. It's okay. I'm using my AI Zoom enhance system. Oh no, enhance. All right, I see right here that there's a little monkey, you know. All right, so on this scene, since we're in it, you can see those little things moving around, those little sparkles, not the cursor. You see all the little orange flecks moving around. I inherited all these from a different scene, and this one has these little fire wisps going on. So we're going to change that one. That is embers. We're going with snow. Let's see what snow looks like. Snow will look like that. Let's look and see what snowstorm looks like. Snow. We'll go with snowstorm. Oh, that's a little trippier. I kind of like that one. Embers after a mass body pile fire. Well, that's a different scene. All right, we're gonna go with the snow on that one. This one is the one with the embers. But we're gonna take on some of these, like that one and that one. We're not gonna need those, so we're gonna take those off. I'm gonna try something here really quickly. I'm trying to see which one of these might actually have weird stuff to put on here. So weather effects. Let's see what we got. We have rain, rain top down, rain without splash, snow, snowstorm, rain, fog, clouds, autumn leaves, stars. What do stars do? Oh yeah, there's just little sparkly glitter stars moving around. They're a little hard to see, but you can see them kind of when I'm moving in and out. I think that works for that scene. Dallas scored. Oh man, 43 seconds left. The stars is when the creator of this program comes to your place and punches you. Punk. Oh, face. My favorite face. All right, we're going to go to this one. Let's see what we got on this guy. Oops. How about I open that back up? Go to ambiance. We could go with bats, birds, crows, eagles, rats, spiders, bubbles. What does bubbles do? Oh, it's literally bubbles everywhere on the screen. Okay, that's a little bit much. I could tone them down. I could go in here and actually play around with the tone down bits and pieces, but that's kind of funny. Clouds. I want to see what clouds does. Because I think this is supposed to be a top-down one. Maybe. Oh, yeah, look at that. We got some clouds moving in. That's kind of funny. Let's see. Clouds. Let's go with fog once and see what that does. That's probably going to completely obscure the entire scene, which is kind of funny. Wow, that's I'm thinking it'd be kind of hard to see what you're doing in there. There's a lot of people smoking in here. It's the best bar ever. So let me check something once here. I'm on this scene. There is an FX master. Effect controls, animation effects, particle effects. We got the clouds. We got the fog. Can I scale, speed, lifetime, density, opacity? Bring it way down. And the tint down to some. Like that. So it doesn't look like when I change it on here, it actually changes it. Okay, well, that's good to know. Is that part of the effects master? That's effect controls. Clear particle and filter effects. Permanently delete particle effects. Yes, I want to permanently delete them. I just wanted to see what it does. Okay. Region, ambient, lighting, wall, drawing, tile, measurement, scenery. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing the tools active, the effects stuff, I'd have to do it here. Yeah, I could save them out of macros and do stuff, but I'll just take it off of this one because. Oh, actually, wait. Let me do this once. Let me change this and save it as fog. All right, and now if I go into the effects controls here, can this allow me to do something with it? No. Let's do this. Let's take the effect off completely. Save changes. Nothing. Aha, it does. Now the question is, if I go to a completely different scene, is the fog in there too? I think the fog is still on. And if I particle effects, animation effects, tools active. If I clear them from this, there shouldn't be any, but that's okay. That's fine. They're not on there anyway. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's how that works. Ambiance, we're not going to have anything in here. Just have rats everywhere. Every scene has rats. It's weird, sir. Eagles, the walk. Soupy fog. Spoopy fog. Yeah, it was very spoopy fog. Almost soupy. Soupy, spoopy fog. All right. And I've got all those. I have one more. I gotta go look at my note. Where have I put my note? My folder where this is all living. All right, we're gonna get into here. Yeah, and I can where is it here? This is one of the sets of music here. I don't know how loud it'll be since I have my desktop audio on. I'm not sure if I should catch it. Start hearing some creepy ambiance. All right, where are my notes? There's my notes and my synopsis. Okay. All right. Ba 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 ba. Okay. And that doesn't require a different place. Okay, and this is the part 3. Go. All right, so what we need to do then is we need to go to this scene, which is this one. Activate it. Go to the ambiance. We will go to this one. We'll see what happens. Is it birds? They're very bright birds. I didn't want bright birds. I wanted dark birds, but that's okay. I wonder if I can find dark birds. Eagles. Ah, there we go. We got crows instead of birds. That'll be better. There we go. I can see some of them flying around. Nice. I like it. answering a rude eye here quickly. Oh boy, I spell the words the best. Shapoopy. Overtime and coming. Whoa, nice. 30, 37, 37. Oh man, I kind of wish I was watching the game. But this, I'm still having more fun doing this. Let's see, and also oops. Just explaining the basic setup of things in this system, of how they would work. All right, so this is, I think this is creepy music. This is a good one. I wonder if, let me open up this document. I think I closed it. Yes, I did. Okay. Do. All right, so where is my document folder for this? And the rules are, I have a rules folder. There it is. All right. Boop, boop, boop. All All right, that's core stunts. Don't care about the core stunts. Conditions. All right. All right. Okay. So oops. Let's see. Invoke. Um, we'll say grab the snack. Ooh, what'd you get? What was this snack's name? Wah wah. Okay. Invoke any number of aspects. Blah 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 blah. I can only do one. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. Oh, I should probably put a comma there. All right. I think I've got the information I need to hand to him. Player can add 2 to a roll or subtract 2 from opponent's roll, or a free roll adjust. Okay, we'll go beep, beep, boop, boop. It's there we go. All right, we got that set up, and I'm out of there. So the interesting thing about the Dresden Files Accelerated and Fate in general is when you have a character, everything is based off of their aspects, really. So if you've got this character here, like we talked about, he's got his high concept, he's got his trouble. Every character has at least 2 aspects, sometimes 3, sometimes more, depending on the character. It depends on if they've been around a while or if it makes a lot of sense. An aspect is something that is, like I'd said before, a double-edged sword that explains something about the character that you can invoke. Now, sometimes you can get free invokes, sometimes you can get compelled on these, and they're all different takes on the same thing. Say this guy right now has an aspect called Perkins usually takes care of that ... which means if he has a fate token and he just is like, hey, how the hell are you guys going to get out of here? And you know, we don't have a ride home, it's the middle of the night, we're not gonna be able to get a cab, and cell service is down for some reason, somebody shorted out the cell tower. He can just say, oh well, before the cell tower went down, I'm spending my fate token, I called my butler Perkins, and he's waiting outside in the Bentley. And he's like, okay. Perkins is waiting out there dutifully, as always, you know, waiting in the stretch Bentley, waiting for everybody to pile in, have a little bit of champagne, and take them all back to the penthouse. Now, that is him using a fate point to invoke his own aspect. And you can do that whenever you want at any point. If you have fate tokens to spend, you can do it. I, as the storyteller, could say, hey, you ran away from these people. The cell towers are down. The credit card systems are messed up. Who knows what's going on over here? Your wallets are all wet. You lost your stuff. Nobody has any cash. We need to get into the subway, but we can't jump the turnstiles because they got the walls up. And is somebody going to be able to figure out how to get, you know, money or do something? And if he's in charge, I could just say, here, have a fate token, which is a really good piece of currency in this game. I'm going to hostile invoke. I'm going to invoke your aspect of Perkins usually takes care of that. And he's just like, how does this how do you get a subway token? I don't understand. I've never done this before in my life. Perkins usually takes care of that. And it could just come back around to, you know, Perkins usually takes care of everything. So he has no clue how things work in the world. He can't buy himself a loaf of bread. He doesn't understand how normal people do things half the time. Now, there is a possibility that if I offer him that, and he's like, wow, this is a really bad situation, I don't want that. He can spend a fate token to say, no, I revoke, or I refuse to compel, and I can just put my token down and I'll just keep it. And he spends one to not be susceptible to his own flaws. And that's why we keep going back and forth. I'm supposed to spend these. You're supposed to use them because you start with like 3 usually, depending on your refresh. And then you use them. You go back and forth. You can pile them up. If you keep doing stuff to your nature, I can keep handing them to you. You could end up with like 8 of them sitting on you. And you can just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to start spending them. Now, you can also, people can use these on you because these are the aspects you have. Somebody could have, in one of those fights, socked you in the jaw and you are lightheaded or discombobulated or dizzy, and I will give you a new aspect and you can note it on your character, or we can put it up here as a little aspect. I'll drag it over and I'll just say dizzy. Now, some of those are visible, some are not. Now, visibly acting a little bit like, whew, people would know, I think that guy's dizzy. I think he's off his meds or something. There's something wrong with him. I can use that to my advantage. I'm going to pick that guy's pocket, and you can say, I'm invoking that guy's, it's a hostile invoke. I'm going to use his fate point. I'm going to invoke that, and that guy is too distracted and dizzy holding his head to even notice. So I'm going to get a +2 on my pickpocketing roll. So you can do these back and forth a lot. You got some goldfish. Dallas made a field goal in overtime. Oh, man, Dallas is just coming back strong. Possession to score. Oof. Oh, boy. Not looking good. Not looking good. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and beyond that, somehow I've messed up something here on this. That's supposed to be that. And that's supposed to be that. Okay. I messed up something on his sheet. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how you play almost everything in the game. That's invoking stuff. Now, if you decide you want to do one of the 4 actions, overcome, create an advantage, attack, or defend. Create an advantage is anything you can think of to give your team an advantage or yourself. And that's the thing like, hey, I'm going to trip this guy, or I'm going to smack him in the ankle with a crowbar. And it's not going to do a ton of damage, but it's going to give him a sprained ankle. And then we can use that against him. Or I'm going to accidentally blow out the candles in this whole area. Or I'm going to accidentally hit the light switch. It's going to make it dim. And you can say, okay, I'm going to use my guile to do this. So you'd make a roll with your guile. Like this guy would do, he'd just roll. You'd look at the pluses and minuses on the fate dice, and it says plus blank plus minus blank. So that's one success with 1 plus left over. Plus is 2 guile, so he got a 3, which is a good result. And that means that he did it. And then now somebody could say, hey, it's dim in here because of what he did. We can all sneak past the bouncer now while he's trying to figure out why the lights are off. And everybody then has that invoke on them, and they can all get a +2 on their stealth. So synergy, working back and forth, that kind of stuff. And anything you do is used by those approaches. You don't have necessarily skills. Your skills are these 6 things: flair, your focus, your force, your guile, your haste, and your intellect. And depending on where you put your points, you may be fantastic with flair. Like, you are just, I'm the most charismatic, flashy, flamboyant person ever. I'm going to dazzle this guy with talking about my latest trip to Ibiza, and he's not going to even know what hit him. And the guy would roll, and he has a 3, and he got the same thing he got last time, but his guile is higher. So, or his flair is higher. So he got a 4, which is a great success. Now, his difficulty was a 2. He got a 4. That's 2 higher. That's a success. If he wanted to, if he gets 3 or higher above the shift, everything is called shifts. Like difficulties 2. I got a 4. That's 2 shifts higher. If you get 3 shifts higher than the target number, you succeed with style, which means you can actually add extra flair and extra things to it. So if he decided, I'm going to use one of my free invokes or a fate point, and I'm going to go boom, I just pushed the button and it added 2 there. Now he has a fantastic result, which means he succeeds with style. So what you can do when you do that is you can look at, and I gave these to everybody to take a peek at, the results table. And you guys can't really read this, but if the opposition has ships, it's a failure. You don't achieve your objective, or you do, but at a major cost. So you failed, but I'm going to figure out a way to make it cost you something. Like, yes, you turned off the lights, but you also spilled a drink on yourself, and now you smell like alcohol. And everybody's just like, ooh, that guy smells drunk. It may not be a big thing right now, or it might be a big thing later. If you get no shifts, it's a tie. Again, you partially succeed. Like, maybe you hit the light switches, but you only turned off the lights on the stage, and now everybody's like, hey. So you sort of distracted people, But it didn't make it easier for everybody else. It only made it easy for, like, you or one person to sneak past. If you get 1 to shoot shifts, you can succeed and achieve your objective. You did it. 3 or higher, succeed with style, you achieve it, and you get an additional bonus, whatever I decide to give you. Major fail. Yeah, don't majorly fail. But sometimes it's fun to majorly fail. Because what I was explaining before, too, is there's these boxes underneath. You can see underneath this picture here, there's these weird shapes. You can't really tell, but there are 6 boxes here. Every character starts with 6 points of stress. Unless you have stunts that give you supernatural strength or something from your mantle that can change things. When you get hit by something, say somebody hits you with an attack, like if, say this guy has force and he rolls it, and he gets a 3, and he has a +2, and he gets a 5, and say you rolled like a -2, he would have 7 shifts on you. Now, that would be horrible, because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, I'm out. And that would mean you're just out of the scene. You're unconscious. But they have these 2 things called In Peril and Doomed. And these ones got their numbers. They got their words removed. Well, we'll have to fix those. Wonder why those got removed. I have some work to do on the sheet still. Yeah, it actually lost a name. Because it's not supposed to be moderate. It's supposed to be In Peril and Doomed. These have different repercussions later. But what these can do is, instead of marking these 6 boxes off here, you could say, you know, I'm going to take In Peril. Boom. That's worth 4, 5, 6, 7. I still have 3 stress left. I'm still in the fight. Alternatively, if you didn't want to do that, you could say, I'm marking 6 of them off and only taking 1 stress. And that means you're doomed. And now, when you start getting things like doomed, things can get a little entertaining. So, let's see here. Oops. So, it's lasting, where is 119 here? Nope, that's not it. In too deep. Nope, 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 nope. Alright, we'll just go back to this here. We'll find the right one. Alright. So, record the stress, blah, 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 blah. I think it's 180. Yep, 187. All right, there we go. I find the right page. And this is why I'm boning back up on these rules, because I haven't run this for a little bit. All right. All right. Now, if Doom doesn't do anything to you. It doesn't automatically make you like, run, falling apart, you're dying. You are just in danger of being taken out. Now, if in the middle of the fight you get hurt and you get doomed and you end the fight and you still have stress, your stress will come back at the end of the fight. But doomed stays around. In peril can go away a little more quickly. So, but if you get taken out, like if you're taken out by stress, at the end of the thing, if nobody else is around, your opponent can dictate that you failed your goal. It can be just a way of saying that. If you marked the imperil condition and nobody else is around to help you, they could do what they want with you. They can take you prisoner, you could be unconscious, whatever. If you check in doomed, you're pretty much at their mercy, and I can come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. And if you get hit with something and you're doomed and you could never have absorbed the attack, like if you would have taken another like 7 or 8 stress, you could actually be killed. I'm familiar with unconscious. I like that. Very nice. And some things do go away. So, indebted or imperil is sticky. I think doomed is lasting. So, yeah, you negate, if you set doom, you negate up to 6 shifts of damage from the attack and then create an aspect that describes how the attack has rendered you almost helpless. So, Doomed is where you get an aspect. You could say bleeding out or ready to embrace the dark side. Something like that. Or I've lost my faith, or I'm completely like catatonic or something like that. But whoever inflicted on you gets to invoke that for free. So if they get to do something after you've marked doom, they can do some nasty stuff to you. They can be like, oh, you've got a bullet wound to your shoulder? I'm going to stick my thumb in it and get +2 on my roll to interrogate or hurt you. It's like, oh man, that's mean. Sadly, also familiar with character death. Yeah. Sadly. So basically, Doomed is something that would be recovered at the end of a next session. Usually, Imperil is something you recover, I believe. I think you actually have to do something deliberate to remove that. I'll have to check. I think if it's like you broke your leg, you have to get medical attention. If it's something your hands are burned or something like that, it's the same. If it's a mental thing, if you got like a migraine, you have to rest. You have to do something that requires you to overcome an obstacle and work at it. So it's easier to get rid of, but still, it's not to be done lightly. But since we're doing a one shot, there's a possibility we could mop some stuff up here. I'm just giving Rudai another thought here. Boom. So yeah, this now here's the other thing too, is like I said, this is all the really simple basic stuff. If you were to play say a Wizard of the White Council or a Focus Practitioner, you would have normal stress, you'd have Indoomed, Imperil, you'd have Indebted, possibly, you could have Exhausted, Burned Out, and the Third Eye. Now, there are things you can do to really do some crazy stunts in this game. And so, if you took Exhausted, there's a checkbox for it. Check this condition to boost your magical power, as described by the evocation stunt. So if you're evoking fire, doing something, you can mark Exhausted. I get a boost to use against you in any scene when your fatigue could be used against you. Like, hey, you're trying to make it out of there after you exhausted yourself and you're trying to climb the wall. I'm like, okay, you're exhausted. So -2 to that roll, buddy. Or basically +2, your difficulty is too higher. But you can rest to get rid of it. And it's up to me, to make sure that there are opportunities for the players to actually rest and get some stuff back. Now, there's another condition, which you've seen like Harry Dresden use in the book. It's called Burned Out. This is a lasting condition. You can further boost your magical ability. You have to look at the evocation stunt. It can supercharge your spells. If you get burned out, you can't use magic. You're done using magic for this part of the adventure. Until you fully recover. You have to recover by eating, meditating, resting like Exhausted, but it could take a while, and it recovers at the end of the following session. So in a normal game, that's pretty fun. One of our wizards used it more than one time, and he was a wizard without magic, and he had to get by, and he had a lot of fun doing it. But in the one shot, that means that's going to be a big thing. So that'll probably be tied into, like, say if somebody ends up doing that and we end up filling the miracle bar twice, exhausted, all that stuff, like a party miracle, it may be able to wipe some of that stuff out. So the wizards also have something called the third eye. Basically, you can check it. You have eidetic memory. You see everything for a metaphorical expression of its true nature, which is a hell of a lot of fun to do in this system when talking to people. I really hope that one of the people plays a wizard, or at least a focus practitioner with a third eye, because it gets so fun and disturbing. You can see through disguises and stuff. But, and you can discern things about people. You can get their status and you can figure out invokes. Problem is, you see everything. And I mean everything, good or bad. So you got to be careful. Let's see, what does it say here? Oh yeah, you can check stress boxes as a wizard to get +2 on magical successes. So you can use your stress to give you bonuses. If you mark exhausted, you get +4 on a single magical attack, which is crazy. Or you could attack a whole group of things without dividing your roll, because normally you have to divide your roll between a number of things when you cast spells. You could just go, I'm hitting everybody. I'm going to be exhausted, but I'm hitting everybody. You could burn out, and it would give you +2 to every magical action for the rest of the whole scene. But if exhausted's already checked, you could also still attack multiple targets. You could do the same thing. Basically, if you marked a couple of stress, took exhausted, and also burned out, you could have, like, do a single spell at +8, which on the stunt list or on the ability here is a legendary action. That is something that you see like once in a lifetime, but you could do it. Oh my gosh. Packers get a field goal at 0-0-0, ended in tied game. Wow. That is impressive. Okay. Dark Dave, I'm never careful. Yeah, so there's that kind of stuff. But you can also be normal spellcasters. You could be something like a reporter. You could have conditions called like off the air. And so if you decide like, hey, you did something really bad. You leaked a document you weren't supposed to, or gave up something, or did something that the news organization is like, what the hell did you do? They're just like, oh, mark that, you're off the air. And that means temporarily you don't have your press credentials. And maybe you don't have the reach of your audience and stuff like that. You could have stunts that give you the ability of +2 on investigating supernatural stuff. Like if your newspaper you work for or the blog you do has something to do with that. You could have contacts in high places. If you were and we're not doing vampires in this thing, so I'll have to make sure everybody, when we're talking, I'm gonna meet with everybody tomorrow about this. No vampires in here, because in this version of the world, they do not exist. Well, they exist, but they've been pretty much run underground. No bloodsuckers, exactly. Even the white court and whatever, the red court in this version of the Dresden world has, well, you know what Harry Dresden did to them if you've read the books. And the black court is in a similar situation. The Jade Green Court or whatever don't set foot over here, and the White Court has pretty much made themselves scarce because of some things that happened with the Fae. A night nurse that does blood draws. You could be a medic. You could be a medic. And the knights are fun because they don't even have to be somebody who 100% believes in Christianity, but I mean it helps. But it's pretty interesting. We had one guy that was a criminal, but he was part Fae. He found out some interesting things about himself through the story. Clued in mortals are cool. We had one of those guys who was literally a clued in mortal. He was a monster hunter who was a Van Helsing descendant, and that was his thing. But he had knowledge, and he had stuff about rumors and preparation because he had stuff fortified all over the city. 100% believe in Christianity. Nice. Da-da-da. But there's a few different things you can do, like if you're police power, unless you're suspended, if you're law enforcement, you can arrest people when you have probable cause, detain people, access and search private property when authorized to do so with warrants, and you have to get a specific stunt to do that. But you could be suspended, blah blah blah. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff you can do. There you go. Get away, bug. But literally, it's kind of up to everybody's amusement to come up with whatever their version of. We could even have more than one person that's a criminal, and they would decide, hey, I'm going to focus on forgery. I'm totally a sneak thief. I'm a second floor man. I totally get in, get out, steal the stuff, and go. But, yeah. Let's see. Where was I at here? Moving that stuff around. And so, yeah, it's going to be... The thing is, there's a lot of back and forth. I'm hoping somebody does play a wizard of some sort, or a focused practitioner, like I said. It's going to be challenging for them because they'll have to do a little more research, because casting spells is way easier in this system than it is in the original Dresden Files RPG. It was so difficult. It would just draw the entire combat out, because dragging it to a halt every time somebody tried to figure out how to do a spell, it was so painful. So, and the best thing you can do is kind of come up with like 2 or 3 things that you often do. Like, hey, my signature things are these. And knowing that those things are there, because I think there are some actual spells kind of cast or laid out in here, I think. Because, let's see, I think, yeah, there's evocation and thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy is ritual magic. Yeah, as a wizard, you can cast magical spells comprising of 5 elements: air, earth, fire, water, and spirit. And you can do normal stuff. You can do a shield, advantage by shifting the earth, blah, 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 blah. And there's a whole bunch of other little things, but I thought there was a specific thing about spells. Where is it? There's another one here somewhere. There's so many characters in here, it's hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, those are ritual things. We don't need to worry about that. All right, here we go. There's the rituals. La la. That's miscellaneous stuff. Don't care about the rituals. The rituals are pretty important. They're really big things. Conflicts, challenges. I thought there was let me look at the, where is it? I think it's Wrath, Ruin, and the Red Dawn where it talks about it. Great power, stunts, emote B, ritual magic aspects. I think it's under here. Wrath, Ruin, and the Red Dawn. Looked a little at magic and looked like a little complex for one shot. Yeah, it can be complex. That's why whoever decides if they're going to play a magical practitioner, like I said, it's best to come up with like the 3 main things that you like to do. Like, hey, I love creating little portals with ritual magic, or I cast a lot of ice magic, or I'm really good with spirit magic, and I see ghosts everywhere, that kind of stuff. I thought there was a... Divide your totals for the roll among the targets and assign at least a +1 to each attack. All right. The good thing about this is, in this game, you're like, I'm gonna take some shots at guys. If you want to attack multiple targets, you roll your attack and decide how much you're gonna spend between them. You have to put at least +1 on each attack. So if you want to hit 3 opponents and you roll a 5, you could do 2 fair and 1 average, so it's +2 on 2 and +1 on another. There are certain conditions that let you do other stuff, like there's some stunts that allow you to multi-attack and things like that. And you can also change your mind about splitting it. If you're like, I'm going to attack all 3 of these guys, and you roll like a 2, you're like, well, crap. Nope, I'm only attacking the one guy. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. It's not like, no, you said so, you're screwed. It's more just kind of working narratively to figure out what happens. So, but yeah, there can be complex investigations. There won't be a lot of that in this one because those can take like sometimes months, which is weird. And we're not going to create those. There is a thing in here. I know there's a... Where is it? I know there is a thing. There's a character here. Okay. Hey, Chrysanth, if you're still here, if you can read this right here, this is Sue. And there's a picture of her. Her high concept is massive undead T-Rex. Her other aspects, she belongs in a museum. She has great force, so +4. She has +2 on flare and focus and 0 on everything else. What page is Sue? Sue is on page 219. Look at that text. Whether there be profanity that has to be censored. Yes! Well, mostly right now I was just not giving away anything for the adventure. But this is also me because this is copyrighted material. I just didn't want to put it all up here since, you know, they may not like that. Bound by the beat. Sticky. Mark bound by the beat when the drum beat which powers Sue is disrupted, for instance, if the drummer is attacked. If Sue goes a full scene without having a box check, the drummer is able to reassert control, recover all boxes. Well, there are unchecked boxes with the condition. She must act as her summoner wishes. If every box is checked, she escapes and will take no action except basic self-defense until the end of the scene, at which point her ectoplasmic flesh will dissipate and her skeleton will crash to the ground, inanimate. There's Fetch, Garou, a ghoul. There's a whole adventure in here. I thought there was a section on some of these characters too, wasn't there? Example campaign. I thought there was... What is this? This is Astrid, Marie St. Pierre, Sean McAvoy, Gabriel Beaumont. Gabriel Beaumont. I think this is where the play aids are supposed to be, but there's, well, little in there. Quick reference. Characters. I think you're right. The characters are earlier. Let's see. Ritual magic, attack, defend. Yeah, and in this one, it's pretty much like if you take the attack action, you're like, I'm going to use my evocation. I'm going to boost it by a little. I'm going to make my roll. Pretty much, I'm shooting ice needles at them. You can do it as simply as that. Or you can say, I'm going to do ice needles at 4 guys. And then you roll and you're like, well, I didn't get well enough to do that. I'm going to do ice needles at 1 guy. Now, the other thing that's fun in this campaign is initiative is weird. Like, if you get into a situation where somebody's going to do something, like if Dave, if you're just like, oh, I'm going to kick this guy in the nuts. And you're like, okay. So when we go to initiative, unless somebody else intervenes and says, whoa, I've got lightning fast reflexes, I'm intervening, your character just goes first. Not only that, the person who goes, and when they're done with their turn, they decide who goes next. So it's totally viable for the players to say, I go first, then this person, and this person, this person. My team goes first. And we take all our turns before they do. But what they can do they have to realize is that the person who goes last in the round chooses who goes first in the next round. So they can say, okay, I'm last. I'm going to take my turn. By the way, I'm going first next turn. And so they could technically take 2 turns in a row, or they could just say, well, that's cool, I went, but my friend Sue, the T-Rex, is going first next round. And everybody's like, oh, crap. So sometimes it's not a bad idea to maybe save one of your characters to go last so they can choose who goes. But that's up to the people, and it also can be interrupted if people are like, well, you want to go, but this guy's got this thing. He's got some panache. Let's see. Let's see. That's the other sheet. All right, let's go early on. Bam! We're going early on to the setup here. Uh-huh. Orders of note. Factions and notable people. Here we go. So, like, some of these characters have just really crazy abilities. They've just got some super, super monstrous powers. Like, if you look at her focus, Molly Carpenter is +4. It's pretty amazing. She got Truthbound, Pharaohburn, Earthbreaker, Oathbreaker, Fairy Lady. Glamour, Greater Glamour. Psychomancy. All right, let's see. Look, she says. Mab. There's Fix. All right, so he's a reluctant. At this point in the thing, they put him in the sequence where he's a reluctant winter knight. His trouble is tempted by power. His other aspects are never threaten my family, cold hands, warm heart, wise ass, and the wearer of many hats. His force is +5. +5. That means he rolls his 4 fate dice. Even if he gets 4 minuses, he still gets a 1 on that roll, which is amazing. But if he gets higher and he adds other stuff, there's a reason that his spells are so powerful. He has the power of winter. He can be impaled by cold iron, disfavored, exhausted, third eye, doomed, lasting. He's got a whole bunch of checkboxes he has to deal with. And there's things like he gets a thing called faster, stronger, tougher. And I don't know if this will actually take me to it. Hey, it did take me to it. He can add +1 to any action which Bruce strength or sheer speed is requisite. So he has a pool to pull from. He can just say, well, I'm going faster. In fact, I'm going to mark a couple boxes. I'm going much faster. And superior recovery, all this stuff. And that means basically you can take one of those things that's like sticky, like Imperil or something that would normally stay around. And at the end of the scene, it just goes away. So it's kind of like super, super fast healing, all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff. Lots and lots of fun stuff in here. Kringle. That's funny. I forgot about Kringle. Were creature. The White Court Virgin. Whee! Right. So, what was I doing here? I was moving this over here. Saving that one. What time am I getting to be here by now? Let me see. Let me see what we got for time. And I'm not getting anything to pop up. That's fantastic. There we go. All right. So, I have all but one of the scenes that I wanted to put in here because I'm still deliberating over one of them, of which way I want it to go. But it's because, like I've said, there's a limited amount of times. This is a one shot. I have in here 12 different scenes already. Might only visit 3. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. It really depends on how much role playing and stuff is going on. At certain points, I'll just have to probably move things along a little bit. Well, because we need to get to the end of it. Now, if it were a traditional campaign, I'd be fine with everybody hanging around in the tavern and having it an epic role-playing session that is them talking about how they're going to do this thing, dealing with other people until, you know, somebody literally or figuratively throws a bomb in the works, like a clog, a sabot in the gears to sabotage what's going on. But since this is a one-shot, we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe this will turn into, if people enjoy the system, maybe it would be something that would make an appearance on the channel. Who knows? If not, I'm still planning on rolling or running a private game of this for people at some point. So it'll be, if nothing else, it will be a gateway into the system to see if people like it. Excellent. Alaska Jeff. It's a very fun system because it is so roleplay heavy, you could say, but also it's very improv-ish because your character is mostly a bunch of statements with some numbers backing it up. And it's totally fine with me if we decide, hey, this is how it's working right now. The next scene, we may do things ever so slightly differently because action, sequences, crazy amounts of stuff. Sometimes there won't even be rolls. I'll just let some things happen because narratively it makes sense. Or somebody spends a fate token. I'm like, you know, we don't need a roll. We're just going to do it. Boom. Role play. Me like. Best role plays when people really ham up their characters being actors more than players. It can be, yeah. And honestly, it's fun when somebody is less worried about their character failing or dying because they're like, oh man, I'm gonna totally fail again. The good thing about this system is even if you technically fail, I can make it so, yeah, you failed the roll, but guess what? You still succeeded because we have a thing called costs in here. And I don't know if I can actually zoom in on this any farther. Regardless, if you fail by a little bit, you can get a minor cost. So a minor cost could be, you could foreshadow some imminent peril. You succeed. So they like say like the lock opens with a soft click, but the same cannot be said for the vault door. If they didn't know you were here before, they do now. You're like, yeah, I got the lock open. Oh, I failed my roll, but the lock opens, but the door goes, it makes tons of noise. Or it sets off an alarm and you're like, oh crap. You could introduce a new wrinkle. It says, a friend of a friend can help you translate the Aramaic spell. You know her actually, but the last time you saw her was years ago when she caught you with her husband. You're used to failure. You can present the player with a tough choice. You managed to brace the collapsing ceiling enough for 2 of the others to get through safely, but not the rest. Who's it going to be? Like, some of you are going to get through without having rubble dropped on your head. Who gets through? You could put an aspect or a character on the scene. You somehow managed to land on your feet, but with a twisted ankle. So, yeah, you succeeded still, but you twisted your ankle. So you're going to be facing some tougher choices if I invoke that when you're trying to do something later. Wait, what was I doing with her husband? I don't know what you were doing with her husband. Playing poker? Betting on games? Watching the hippos? I don't know. You could give an NPC a boost or an advantage. Hendrik surprises you a bit by agreeing to put down his weapon, but he does with a knowing smile that makes you uneasy. Clearly, Hendrix knows something you don't. Watching hippos. Got it. You can check a character stress box. It can be as simple as that. Like, hey, you failed. Check stress box. Could be simple. Now, a serious cost could be something really different. Like, you failed super bad, but it's important that you succeed on the task. So, it's rather than suspicious that a guard heard the vault door open, a few guards burst into the room with weapons drawn. Instead of a collapsed ceiling separating characters from their allies, one or more of those allies is buried under the debris. After disarming himself, Hendrik surprises the players a minute or two later when he draws his backup weapon and takes an undefended shot. So, it can be a pretty serious consequence. But sometimes it's worth it for the story to be like, I succeed. What's going to happen? Is there a reason you can't see a text? It is on purpose. I have it blurred, only because this is the copyrighted PDF of Evil Hat's Dresden Files Accelerated PDF. So I have it all blurred out only because that way, you know, they won't get mad and people won't screenshot their game text and stuff like that. So really, it's just me blurring it for copyright reasons. That's it. And even the stuff behind it, I have it all blurred back here. It's nice and pixelated. So when you can see, when I zoom in, you can actually start to see, you know, some of the images and the pictures and stuff. I'm just working on a campaign for a one-shot we're going to be doing on the Moonskull channel in another week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I don't remember what it is now. Something along those lines. Activate that one. We got some snow. Whoa, that's pretty trippy. See, if I go in closer, you can see that there's snow falling in front of the picture. And it's a little less distracting. What a lovely place to be, right? Nothing bad about this place. Totally lovely place that they're going to love investigating. All right, I can close that. So basically, yeah, and so the thing is, since this is a one-shot, and I don't have time for us to, you know, get an artist to do stuff, literally all these scenes are just images that I've generated using AI. In some cases, I was using Stable Diffusion to try and do a drawing, but it took so long for me to do a drawing and throw it in there, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted, that I went back to Midjourney. And I subscribe to Midjourney so I can just churn out images. And I'm just making images for the background. Because, you know, they're quick, they're easy, they're dirty. I'll use them for the one shot and we'll be done. I mean, we're getting custom art done for the overlays and all that. But all the background stuff that I'm doing and the character art and the NPC art, that is stuff I'm doing. Because, like, like the character's friend, you can kind of see he's a dashing man, and it's in a sort of interesting take because they are technically in a modern day city, but all these interesting characters that they're dealing with, then people, there's a reason that all these pictures are in a very stylized format. Yep, I am using AI to make all these little backgrounds because there's no way I could get anybody to do all this art for me on such a short notice for a one-shot like this. Sadly. I would love to have an artist who could churn out 13 to 15 4,000 by whatever pixel things to my specifications quickly, but we aren't going to. But we are getting, like I said, we're getting the fonts and art and the little, I saw the little thing that we're getting here all set up. I think in actuality, if you look in Moonskull, you can see the beginning of the stuff. We got a nice little overlay with the image. It's, I mean, the background is an AI image. I know, Jeff, you're gonna kill me. Don't kill me. I use a bunch of AI images and other just searches for stuff when I do like my normal screens and shots for everybody when I do private games, because there they go. And in this one especially, it's really good because there is no tactical map in Dresden Files. It's just theater of the mind. Everything is theater of the mind. So you don't have to worry about it. I've been trying to make a one-shot for two of my friends. Was looking for some example of one-shots. Start sharpening my pencil for no particular reason. Am I going to get stabbed? Or are you drawing pictures? I hope you're drawing pictures. So King Fat Rat. Yeah, this one. Here's the little secret. And I don't know. Did I put this in here? Let me see if I put it in here. I'm writing a book on DMing, for one thing. But I guess... Did I not put the syllabi in here? I didn't put the syllabi in here. So, I can't really show you guys the whole syllabi because I have to put player names in it, and character names and all that stuff. But, let's see here. If I go back out here, I do a thing called a syllabi. And where did I put it? Right there. So, this, I'm going to show this to you guys, but it's going to be, I think it won't be blurred out. So, I won't show everything, but I will show the basic image here. Video capture device, window capture. I want a window capture of... Because I do a lot of these role-playing heavy games. All right, we do this. We do this. We make it smaller. So this is what I do. I make a syllabi. And it is I have it in dark mode, so it's going to look weird. I hand this to the players at the beginning of the campaign. It is the name of the campaign, some little pieces of art, and then a quote that typifies the whole thing. And in this one, it is literally the quote is, "She shall cost you dearly, this bride of yours." We go down, we got some people in there. The name of this, the first and the only act is called Swan Song. It has its own quote, and it has 3 parts. These are the 3 parts of the story. When we start out, we're in part 1, negotiations. After we play for a while, I will tell them we are switching to a new scene. We are now in a house of bone. And that will allow them to do a little refresh, a little change, a little stuff. Then we get done with that one, we'll go into part 3, which is dowry. So it's a way for me to structure things for them to get an idea of what's going on. And everything has got a theme and a name and quotes to go along with it. And that gives them kind of an idea of what's coming ahead. They can think about it. They get a flavor in their mind of what's happening. And then there's an epilogue as well. So these kind of things are what I put. Okay, I don't want any more of that. We'll take this back off. Come on, where is my syllabi? There we go. And I give these to the players whenever I make a campaign. And normally they're more than a one shot. They're like 5 pages long or 4 pages long. That is my entire plan for the campaign. I usually take notes on that sheet of paper. I have run campaigns that lasted for a couple of years in this system and some other systems using that syllabi, and that is what I ran it off of. I don't make these voluminous notes. I take notes on the characters. I work things out as on the fly when we go. And one of the characters ended up in our last campaign taking notes during the entire thing, and he ended up with 70 pages in a Word doc of notes. 70 pages. The syllabi. A book about DM direct messaging? Yes! No. If it actually gets, yeah, if I ever get the damn thing done. It's basically about how to just do better stuff in storytelling. It explains my process for how I set up a campaign like this and go forward without spending a year and a half prepping to get going on a campaign. This campaign, I technically, except for this, I have spent an hour and a half making so far. And so I worked today on it. This is what I've been working on today. Everything else was just, I got an idea. And I pitched it when we were talking with the Rudai, and it was like 2 pages long, which is way more than I ever write up for a campaign. So it seemed kind of detailed and overly flowery to me. But he liked it, and we went forward. Yeah, and the general outline of where you're going, that the syllabi is supposed to be a flavor document that gives you the overarching tone. This is called bride price. You figure out what that means. You decide what it means. The quote, most of the things like in Dresden Files and everything else I write has multiple meanings and many ways people can take things. Even the chapter headings and the subheadings all have multiple meanings. So you can do whatever you want with them. And really in this system, it's a little easier to do in person, but when you're doing this kind of a setup where you have to have things set in here, like I have to have all these NPCs, I have to have them ready and I have to have them set up so when I drag them onto the scene, they actually show up properly. And they link to a sheet, they've got all their stuff, I can roll their things. Normally, I can just wing this stuff and just take notes. But this requires a lot more setup, and that's why it's going to take me a little longer. But I mean, I have 90% of what I need here already. It's literally getting it all flavored, now adding the little touches to make the things feel good, and putting the music in here, which is the other thing I'm in the middle of doing. I'm adding more songs to this playlist if I can stop it. There we go. Now I'm going to add some more songs to this because, well, that's what I'm up to. We are in music. And we'll do this one. Update that track. Let's add another one. We've got this one. We'll save that one in there. And let's see. That one is going in as well. So, and I'm making sure these are all triggered over on the music track, so when I play them, people can turn that down if it's totally deafening them. 464, 418, 450. All right, is this one here? That one is there. Okay, here we go. That's the next one I need. What was the other one I needed here? Dark. That. Okay, save that one in there. And I'm going to save that one in there as well. That's a little weird. That's a weirder song, but I'm leaving it in here. So, by the way, King Fat Rat, if you have any other questions or if you have any other thoughts on what you're doing with your one shot, just blurt them out, yell them out, ask questions. I love talking to people about how they set up their one shots and how they set up their games and giving advice and learning things, because I learn a lot from talking to other people. I love it. I mean, I've been DMing since 1981, so I've been doing it for a while. But I love, absolutely love learning how different people do things. Let's see. Most of the time, music is too loud. Battle noises are worse than just music. Yeah, and I generally don't use a lot of battle music in these things. Sometimes I have been known to put some things in there, but I usually like just some ambiance in the background and then we go forward. Sometimes, you know, you get some good stuff in there. But in these I try to keep it a little low. I let it fade in, and then I sometimes if people are talking a lot, I'll just start sliding it down. 1981. It's been a while. And that was me messing around in some games and stuff before I even had the official rules. And then I got official rules. And I was horrible. And my brothers were very impatient. So it was devastatingly bad. And so then the next few times I ran campaigns, I'm like, I'm going to figure out how this works before I have anybody else play. And I figured it all out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier than I thought it was. It was hard getting out of the mentality of like, this isn't a board game. How do we move? Music can be good for transitions during action. It can be a little distracting. Exactly. Yeah, I'd much rather, and I do the same thing in video games. I will turn music off like 90% of the time. Or I'll drop it down to like 15%. Because it's just distracting. I don't need it. I just want to play the game. Which is a little weird for people. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh yeah, and the announcements. It's all announced now. So the players are going to be Chrysanthe, Nozaku Boy, Moss, and Mr. Darth Dave. They're going to be my victim. Yay. I mean my players is what I meant. I'm sure they'll be fine. Their characters may die, but they'll live on. Right? All right, I've got those in there. I've got that in there. I've got that in there. I've got that in there. Okay, I can close that again. I look forward to you victimizing me. For those about to be victimized, I salute you. All right, so I'll have to change that one around. Yeah, I'm still torn on this other. I'm torn on this other effect. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to add this other location. It's likely that will not be a factor, but I've already said, like, the story has 3 main locations, and I have a dozen, just in case, because people might go other places. I mean, technically, there's a 4th place, but we'll see. All right, Dave, you go to bed. Have a good night. Enjoy yourself. Just sleep fast. Or something like that. All right, I can move that window out of my way. I've got everything in this folder. And this is my first kind of jump into using... I normally just use Roll20 and Foundry and stuff, but I've never really hosted anything on Forge through Foundry. So I'm looking at their front end and using it. It's pretty intuitive once I figured it out, which sounds like a weird thing to say because it wasn't intuitive at first because they use really vague terminology and their wiki. Mr. Forge people, your wiki doesn't make a whole lot of sense until you start pushing buttons. So it is not written from a user-friendly standpoint. It is written from a, hey, you already know how to use a bunch of this stuff. Click on it. Because some of the terminology doesn't make sense. And I use pretty complex programs every day. And I had to do the same thing I did there was like, let's click on this and see what happens. And I figured it out. It just took me like 45 minutes. Which was fine. But I figured it out. Oh no, people are loving the new emote. Uh-huh. Sorry, I'm reading some of the Moonskull stuff. Oops. Oh, interesting. Okay. Fan Expo Dallas. Man, I wish I was free. Things are just crazy sometimes. But who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. Oh no, that's terrifying. All right. So over here, I got a message. Let me check and see what that's about. Okay, nothing too critical. We don't have to deal with that now. That's good. All right, there we go. I've got my stuff set up. Boom. All right, so I've got all these. I haven't put the syllabi in here yet, but I should. I've got to wait. I've got to wait before I export those pages as images because I have to add a little bit more info and then switch out of dark mode into white mode so people can actually read the damn thing. I don't like using things in bright white mode. It's really hard to see. It kills my eyes, quite honestly. Quite honestly. All right, so the other thing I like to do when I'm setting these up, and it's a little harder to do this. I don't know why they did it this way. It's a little harder to do it in Foundry. I have fate tokens here, and I want to be able to turn them on and off. It's easier if I make them a tile, because then I can move them around. I can unhide them. I can hide them. I don't have to worry about a character sheet. The problem is, since they're a tile and they're part of the map, I can't touch tokens while I have that selected. So I can't like wholesale grab all these and everything else and move them. I have to switch back and forth, and then I can grab tokens and move tokens and do stuff. So I think I'm leaving these as tiles right now. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna deal with it, and we're gonna say that's the way it goes. Because it's gonna complain every time I do that. Because it's easier for me to use all these things, which are scene aspects, as tokens. And so these are a little hard to see, but if I zoom in and move over here, these are all little icons I've made that I'll be dragging to each scene, and I'll be setting these up ahead of time. Like this one says dim lighting. So this will be an aspect on the scene. When any person goes to the scene, they'll know it's just moonlight. It's just dim lighting. If they want to invoke it for stealth, they can try it and get a +2. They can say, hey, I'm going to spend a fate to invoke it. Now, some people might have free invokes, but normally, I believe normally a setting... Now I'm doubting my own memory of this. Oh, that's not it. Right. Creating and using aspects. All right. Room is Blazing Inferno. All right. So character aspects, factions, situation aspects. All right. Situation aspects apply to the current scene, such as scene locations, features, dim lighting, contents, characters' physical, emotional circumstances within the scene. It could be like this is jarring, it's disturbing, it's heroic or horrific. These vanish when the scene closes or they don't apply. So if somebody puts out the fire, the inferno's gone. If somebody turns up the heat, the cold condition is gone. If somebody turns on the lights, the dim lighting is gone. It's replaced with bright light. So not every potential relevant feature is going to be named, only the most obvious, because I could sit there for an hour and a half putting all the things like it's full of books, it's this, it's that, it's got dirty rugs, it's got whatever. I'm not going to tell you everything. You guys, as players, will be able to come up with some of those. So if you want to obtain a benefit from something everyone agrees in the scene, but it's not a listed aspect, use create an advantage. So someone could say, hey, I'm going to use my intellect to create an advantage. And then everybody gets some free invokes on it. And I think you can invoke, compel, and declare details. So if you invoke, create advantage. Yeah, so basically, I was right. Yeah, if you come into this thing and say, hey, I want to use dim lighting, you have to spend, like if you had 3 fate tokens, I'd have you spend 1. And then what you do is you would invoke that and say, hey, I have a +2 on my roll for stealth in this situation. So I'm going to use my my guile to get through here, but I'm going to take a +2. So you roll your guile, see what you got, and you hit the +2 button. So suddenly it's a +4, which is a great roll. The difficulty was 2. You succeeded by 2, which was succeed. You did a good job. If you had succeeded by 3, you could have succeeded with style and actually done something else, but that requires you to, spend more fate, spend more stuff on your stunts, add things. But a success is a success. I mean, technically, even if he had rolled low, he could have succeeded, but with a cost, like we talked about earlier. It's not an incredibly complex system. It is at the end of the day, it's just a lot of back and forth and deciding, playing make believe. Weirdly enough. Oop, I can turn that back off. It doesn't need to be on. So here we go with that. Nice. So, all right. I'm about done. Oh, it's actually already after midnight. I gotta go do some stuff. And I gotta get up in 5.5 hours for work. Woo! So what I think I'm gonna do is I am going to end this here. If you guys haven't followed me over on YouTube, please go do that. I'm live over on YouTube, R Frost. Just look for Frost. You'll find me over there. And give me a sub over there, please. That would be great. Like, that's where Jeff is right now. Alaska Jeff is on YouTube. So, all right. I am going to get the heck out of here. And I'm looking forward to working on this a little more and having fun doing it. Let's see. I'm going to close this window before I forget. And I can close those windows before I forget as well. All right. Cool. Well, I'm going to go check on cats, see how everything's going. And I will talk to you all next time. I may be just playing a game or writing or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, I will talk to you all very soon. Wow, a whole bunch of people. I didn't realize I had so many people over on YouTube watching me. Hello. Like I said, if you haven't given me a sub over on YouTube, please hit the button. It's free. It gets me closer and closer. People love the content I have over there, evidently, because my watch hours are like through the roof. And that's the thing that people struggle with when they get close to monetization. I'm trying to get more people to sub because people love watching the stuff, but only like 30% of the people or 20% of the people have actually subscribed. I was like, oh, please just hit the button. Just hit the button, please. So anyway, thank you very much. And I'll talk to you all later. Have a great night. Bye.